All right, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? This is the last day of the conference, and just like our host said, this is always like the sore casualty for after parties. So I hope you guys are, hanging on there for the last, burst of your energy, and I guess let's ease into it. So yeah, I'm Phee. I'm from YG Pilipinas. So we are the Philippine regional counterpart of YGG. And today I'm going to talk about, onboarding as a tool to, or a play as an onboarding tool for users to come into Web3. So just to give a context first of what we do as YGG, we are the largest gaming guild in the world, but now we are transitioning into becoming a guild protocol. That means also like we build more guilds and communities to thrive in Web3 and then create or help us build the entire ecosystem. So for many of you might think like in terms of onboarding more users to Web3, many of you might ask why we start with Play, right? Well, in a world where terms like decentralization, blockchain can actually feel like complicated, especially if you talk to someone who just wants to level up in Candy Crush, right? So it's pretty hard for them to understand those things. And Play is actually a general language that they can understand and get them attracted to what we do in Web3, especially in gaming. So that's why at YGG we're really harping into the philosophy or the idea of play for us to be able to onboard more people into Web3. In fact, YG Pilipinas itself is actually a great case study for for this entire idea of play. So since 2021, we were able to grow our Discord members for around 90,000 members, over more than 1 million followers on socials, and those are very organic numbers. And now we are currently at more than 50 guilds just in the Philippines alone. And the key ingredient here really is not to talk about the complex concept around wallets and keys, but it's really about onboarding them or introducing them to games, which then becomes like the gateway for them to navigate more naturally into the more complex concept or landscape of Web. Now, at the same time, while the sense of fun is something that we really harp into at YGG, we also see that there are many challenges or unique challenges that we face at YGG. One is with limited access to internet connectivity. Another one is like the use of low-end mobile devices, and then also like there is some concerns around trusting other platforms in social media for people who are wanting to learn more about the technology. That's why at YG Pilipinas we try to really focus on low fidelity solutions, wherein it's like simple, it's lightweight, and it allows people to interact more meaningfully without having the need to purchase a high-end devices or technology just for them to be able to participate in Web3. Now, also, as we learn more about onboarding more people to Web3 and beyond just the sense of fun and playing games, right? We also realize that play can be also a gateway for people to learn and develop further skills in Web3. So for example, we have our Guild Advancement Program. That's our permissionless questline platform at YGG, wherein we reward our communities for the achievements or contribution that they do in the ecosystem. So one example here is we have AI bounties. So these are actually quests for those who want to for example, upskill themselves in AI data labeling, or may it be, navigating or operating a Frodo bot. So by completing this quest, we also then provide them with soulbound tokens. So these are like, non-transferable NFTs that they can use as, digital credentials that they may then use as their on-chain resume, which can then be, checked by, for example, future employers in Web3 to validate whether or not they've done something in the ecosystem, or they've gone through trainings and quests, that's under YGG. And all these things actually we teach within our educational arm, which we call the Metaversity, which later on I'll be sharing with you guys as well. All right, so what we've also realized is that as we onboard more people to Web3, it's actually not just introducing individuals to to Web3, but for us, again, being a guild protocol, it's really important that we build more guilds, we build more communities, as we also believe that they are actually key players in this decentralized framework. So what I'm showing now is actually the Guild Alliance of YGG, and here we are. They are decentralized gaming guilds. They actually operate on their own. They make their own decision. They're also the ones teaching their own members in terms of how to play the games that they love, navigate into Web3, the complex account creation of different wallets, on-ramping and off-ramping their tokens or earned assets. So these are actually the guilds that are really building the the entire ecosystem for YGG, which also then helps the entire space, especially around Web3 gaming. And of course, we have ways to make sure that we have repeatable strategies for onboarding new players and members into the ecosystem. So one is of course gamified learning. So again, this is through our Metaversity and also our Guild Advancement Program, wherein not only that they complete quests around the different games that they play, but also they get to learn new skills there. But at the same time, they're being rewarded for learning those skills. One example in terms of how we play at YGG, another case study here, is through our esports program. So a lot of the people actually in the space, especially those that you want to onboard, in a professional scene, esports is actually a very big thing now in Web3. For example, we have Tyler, Equinox, and Chris, who were actually former pro players at Hearthstone. And now, when we introduced Parallel TCG to them, they've started to dabble into Web3 gaming and now a great advocate for Web3 gaming. And not only actually them, even normies. For example, I don't know if you guys have heard about AnyChess. AnyChess is another Web3 chess game. And now when we introduce that to Filipino students, most especially, who used to playing traditional chess board game, right? When they started playing AnyChess, it actually kind of sparks a sense of fun. It's actually new. And then without them realizing that they're actually now participating in Web3. And that's very important that we get to be able to recognize and appreciate that, because then it's for us to be able to think further on how else we can be creative in terms of onboarding more people into Web3. Another case study is again our Metaversity Marshall program. So Metaversity is actually the educational pillar of YGG. It's designed to be the learning playground for our existing members and also to the new ones that are about to be part of the community. Currently, we have 350 student scholars, and we also have around 100 plus topics and contents. Now, under Metaversity, we do have two major initiatives. So again, one is Marshall Program, and then the other one is the Future Work. For Future Work, this is more on the vertical around AI and also Deepen, which later on we'll share with you guys as well. But under Marshall Program, we do have actually a cornerstone project together with Sandbox. So here we're building a metaverse city. So this is actually very interesting and very close to my heart kind of project, because with what we're doing right now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with BGC. That's one of the major central business district in the Philippines, where some also call it the small Singapore of Manila. But here what we're doing is we're replicating BGC in Sandbox. I know this is not new. I've seen some students in Hong Kong build something as well, almost similar concept to what we're doing now in Metaverse City. But what's actually very interesting about this are the people building the Metaversity in Sandbox. So we actually onboarded students from a boarding school in Cavite, Philippines. And the policies in boarding school is like students have limited access to PCs and mobile devices. And despite that challenge, we were still able to like onboard them, and they were able to create these digital assets and NFTs that they actually never realized that these are like blockchain or Web3 assets. And for us, the key learning there is that we don't actually, again, need to tackle more about like the difficult concepts or the complex, ideas around Web3 and blockchain, but just having them onboarded in a fun and in an approachable way, as simple as like having them create assets in Sandbox, is actually something meaningful already, especially for kids with limited access to mobile devices and PCs. And imagine like what more if they're being provided with more resources, with more access to technology, and what else can they do? In fact, the one that you see now, they've created that for 2 weeks, again, with zero knowledge in Web3. So another thing that we're doing also in YGG as a form of play and onboarding people to Web3 is Game Jam. So this is a hackathon, and we've been doing this for the last 3 years now. This is actually in partnership with BreederDAO, which Steen is also like helping us out. So here we've been onboarding not only Web3 hackers or developers, but even Web2 professionals and even student devs. For the last 2 years that we've been doing this, we've actually seen growth from our dev community. And it's so enjoyable to watch because a lot of these devs do not only participate for the sake of competition or for winning something. It's actually them being able to access the different tools that they can experiment on, have mentors to consult in terms of like, how to navigate into blockchain, or be part of any program that would accelerate their studies in blockchain development, right? So that's why this is another way for us to onboard more people to Web3. And these are the different ways as to how we play at YGG. And again, to my last point, I think it's very evident now that play is not just like a pastime for everybody. It's actually a great catalyst for learning, for community building, and even for upskilling devs, right, to go into blockchain development. So for us, that's going to be it for YG Pilipinas, and thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, Phee.